Now at 11, the woman accused of hiring a teenager to attempt to murder her ex-husband is sentenced to more than a decade in prison.
The fact that you brought two juveniles into your criminal conspiracy is what I find additionally troubling.
Hear from the victim of that crime describe the emotional and physical scars he's left with.
Having her steal my car was it just sucked. My heart just dropped.
A warning from Renton police. A young girl is getting into people's homes and stealing their cars. What homeowners need to know.
Then at 11:15, the toys are high tech, but now one agency is sounding the alarm.
The privacy concerns about some of the hottest items on your kid's Christmas wish list.
This can pose immediate safety concerns if your child's location data is exposed.
KOMO News at 11 starts now. And we begin with breaking news here at 11. Just over an hour ago, the Thurston County Sheriff's Office announced the arrest of a man in connection to the disappearance of this Lacey couple who have been missing since Monday.
The Sheriff's Office says they believe David O. and Karen Cupp were attacked by the suspect and they did not survive. The suspect is from Olympia and has been booked into the Thurston County Jail on murder and kidnapping charges.
And it's like you want to be helpful to people, especially during this time of the year, but now you can't trust people anymore.
Happening now at 11, a warning for people in Renton. Police say several residents have gotten knocks on their doors from a young girl claiming to be in distress.
At least two people who helped the girl had their cars stolen. KOMO's Jackie Kent talked to one victim about what happened. Jackie?
Mary and Preston, police say the girl knocked on doors in multiple neighborhoods, even getting into some homes to steal keys and wallets. Of course, this is very upsetting for many people in those neighborhoods, including one victim we talked to who told us he just didn't want to leave this girl outside in the dark and in the cold, and now he's learned a painful lesson.
I was just trying to be nice and help someone out, you know, especially a child. Having her steal my car was it just sucked. My heart just dropped.
Richard Don says this nightmare started when he got a knock on his door at night from a young girl pleading for help. A man behind her said she needed a phone charger.
She was acting awkward when he came up. So I was like, okay, just come inside, sit down. Got her a charger, and I'm gonna go get her a drink, just to make her feel comfortable. I think that's when she had swiped my keys.
Renton police say it's a scam happening across the south side of the city, in which a 12 to 14-year-old girl claims to be in trouble to get into people's homes.
And then after a few minutes, she might get them to leave the room or something, maybe make a request of some sort. And then while they leave, she has access to the keys.
At this point, the suspect is still in Dawn's home and has a plan for her getaway.
She had told me that her mom was getting her a lift on my phone. And so then probably about 10 minutes later, I get a text, oh, the lift is 2 minutes away. So she walks outside.
It wasn't until later that his family noticed his Toyota 4Runner was gone. People at the Benson condos say it happened to their neighbor this week, too.
That's why we were like, what? So we was like, be careful of going out to your car and making sure you're paying attention to your surroundings.
Renton police and Dawn are now warning people, don't answer the door for anyone you don't know. And when someone claims they need help,
Call the cops and make sure they deal with it, because you can't really trust anyone nowadays.
And police say the girl they're looking for is black, about 5'5" with a thin build and shoulder-length hair. Right now, it's unclear if there could be other people involved in this scam on homeowners. Police say they were able to locate one of those stolen vehicles with the girl and a group of people, but that group ran off. They were never identified. That's why it's important anyone with information about this case, call police. For now, reporting live, Jackie Kent, KOMO News.
Police in Tacoma are investigating a group of teens and young adults who call themselves the Kia Boys. They get their name from the social media challenge that highlights stealing Kias and Hyundais. Officers say the group is threatening the Tacoma community. Today, the group was involved in several incidents that were reported to Sound 911. Some of the complaints were about the suspects driving erratically and flashing a gun at a Tacoma Public Schools patrol officer and threatened to shoot them. This weekend, Kia is holding a free anti-theft software upgrade event at Alderwood Mall in Linwood. The upgrade is designed to make it harder for criminals to steal Kias by stopping the ignition from being turned on without the key. The event runs from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday.
Well, the holidays are upon us, and police warn they're seeing an increase in retail theft. Local departments say they are adding more emphasis patrols in high targeted areas.
Officers undercover in plain clothes. They're going to be working with our uniformed officers on the street and with our organized retail theft task force officers, and they're going to be making arrests.
Linwood police said in 2022 they had close to 800 retail thefts reported. As of right now, they have 736 shoplifting reports, with a month and a half still left in the year. The extra emphasis patrols will go on throughout the rest of the holiday season. New tonight, a man in his 60s is dead after he was shot and killed at a gas station in Auburn tonight. It happened in the 5000 block of South 288th Street around 8 o'clock tonight. King County Sheriff's deputies say they've detained a suspect in his mid-20s. Right now, it's not clear what led up to the deadly shooting.
The woman who pleaded guilty to an attempted murder for hire plot to kill her ex-husband in 2020 has been ordered to spend more than 13 years in prison. Sharon Kelly hired a 17-year-old as a hitman to commit that heinous crime. KOMO's Hannah Knowles live tonight in Seattle after hearing from Kelly's ex-husband.
Yeah, her ex-husband, he was shot 9 times and tells us he will suffer lifelong injuries because of what she did. Speaking directly to the judge and Kelly herself, he says he's happy he can finally share his story. Another step towards justice in a botched murder for hire plot after Sharon Rose Kelly is sentenced to nearly 14 years in prison.
What I find disturbing about this case is not only your solicitation and attempted murder of Mr. Lee, but the fact that you brought 2 juveniles into the picture.
In court, Baron Lee made the case for his ex-wife to receive a longer punishment for what happened back in 2020 on July 10th.
I stand before the court today to express my strong objection.
Court documents outline Kelly hired a 17-year-old boy to murder Lee and offered to pay the teenager $13,000.
It's been hard. I mean, the last 3 years has been difficult.
On the day of the shooting, police say the 17-year-old got his friend to drive him to the Overlook at Lakemont Apartments in Bellevue, where court documents say he was going to cap someone and empty the clip.
I haven't been able to move on with my life as far as getting this closure.
According to court documents, Lee said he couldn't think of anyone who would want to kill him besides his ex-wife, saying they were in the midst of a very acrimonious custody battle that also included a financial motive for Kelly to have sole custody of their child.
The amount of lives that she's impacted and the potential outcome that could have been would have been a lot worse if it would have been worse if she succeeded.
As for the 2 teens that were involved in this plot to murder, they will both spend several years in a juvenile detention center. The one that fired the gun will then serve time in an adult center. Live in Seattle, Hannah Knowles, KOMO News.
Hannah, thank you. Tonight, questions still surround a deadly shooting that happened in Issaquah this morning. A woman told police she shot her ex-boyfriend because he was breaking into her apartment. Neighbors were left in shock.
It's very disturbing, and I'll tell you one thing, I'm buying a gun. I'm devastated that this kind of violence could happen right here.
Officers spent the entire day at the complex. The Major Crimes Task Force is now investigating. Tonight, we now know 2 people are dead after an hours-long standoff with SWAT teams in Bremerton. The Kitsap County Sheriff's Office says a homicide suspect from Pierce County barricaded himself inside a home when the FBI showed up to arrest him. Around 10:15 this morning, our crews at the scene heard flashbangs and shots being fired. 30 minutes later, the sheriff's office confirmed that the suspect was dead. A woman inside the home was taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds. She was later pronounced dead at the hospital.
You'll soon notice new signs up around Seattle that will act as markers, bringing awareness to pedestrian deaths. The 220 orange markers will be placed where a person has been hit and killed while walking or biking. The group installing the markers says these people might still be alive if the streets were designed better.
You got a lot of people that just walk because they think that the car should actually just stop for them because they are a pedestrian.
The markers will be installed throughout the weekend. Anyone who wants to help can meet the group at 11 tomorrow morning at the corner of Aurora Avenue and North 84th Street. According to the Seattle Department of Transportation, 24 people have been hit and killed by drivers so far this year. Another 226 have been seriously hurt. Those numbers are fast approaching a record high of 30 fatal collisions for all of last year. 2022 also saw 226 people suffer serious injuries.
Sunday is the World Day of Remembrance for traffic victims. WSDOT says over 5,000 people have lost their lives in traffic-related crashes in the past decade. 20% of those were killed while either walking or riding a bicycle. SeaTac International Airport released its projections for travelers this upcoming holiday weekend and expect it to be very crowded. Here's a look at the 3 busiest days. 156,000 travelers will pass through SeaTac on Wednesday. That's the day before Thanksgiving. 158,000 travelers are expected Sunday and 148,000 the Monday after Thanksgiving. As of today, Alaska Airlines now offers direct flights between Painfield and Everett and Honolulu, Hawaii. Those flights leave daily. It's Alaska's first new flight to Honolulu in more than a decade. It is also the longest flight they operate from Painfield.
This weekend at the Seattle Museum of Flight, it's a quest to solve one of Washington State's most enduring mysteries. Today was the first day of DB CooperCon 2023. The 3-day-long event is about all things concerning the man who hijacked a flight from Portland to Seattle back in 1971. He demanded cash and parachutes before skydiving over southwestern Washington, never to be seen again. Tomorrow, so-called Cooper experts will hold a discussion on suspects, DNA analysis, and Cooper's ties, and more. A carjacking suspect picks just about the worst hiding spot you can think of. The creative way police were able to flush him out.
Now, these toys can be totally neat, but smart toys come with unique risks.
High-tech toys and privacy concerns, the things to watch out for on the hot items on your child's wish list.
And hi there, everybody. It was another beautiful November day. Case in point, look at this gorgeous shot. A row of trees there captured by Jim Miller. Hanging on to their leaves for now, but by Saturday night into Sunday, another round of rain and wind. All the better for heading indoors for the Quilt and Craft and Sewing Fair in Puyallup. Rest of the forecast coming up next.
The House Speaker taking steps to increase transparency in the January 6th Capitol attacks. It's one of the 4 to watch stories that we're following for you tonight. We'll be right back.
A carjacking suspect in Wisconsin found out the hard way that getting arrested, well, it stinks. Police were chasing a stolen SUV and eventually were able to stop it with spike strips. All 4 people in the car got out and ran. One of them took off through a golf course and hid in a porta potty. Golfer who saw him went over, tipped it over, and trapped him inside until police got there.
Come out! Crawl out, dude. Don't do anything stupid. Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
Gonna need some hand sanitizer after that one. Police are still looking for those 2 other suspects.
Ahead of the holiday shopping season, the U.S. Public Interest Research Group released its yearly toy report to warn families what not to buy. New at 11, Mayor Franco from our sister station in Fresno, California, shares what parents should be on the lookout for this year.
Toy catalogs are beginning to come home for parents, grandparents, caregivers. We're flooded with choices.
With the holidays around the corner and stores decked out with toys, gifts, and gadgets, families are now brainstorming for Christmas wish list ideas. Also thinking of your list, the U.S. Public Interest Research Group Education Fund. Its 37th annual Trouble in Toyland report reveals some disturbing findings regarding smart toys.
Now, these toys can be totally neat, but smart toys come with unique risks that fall into 2 main categories. The first is lack security protocols, and the second is enabling unnecessary data collection about kids that can threaten their safety.
By enabling hackers to spy on and even speak to your children if they gain access to the toy.
Smart toys are high-tech components like microphones and cameras, Wi-Fi or Bluetooth connections, artificial intelligence software, or companion apps that you have to download. Smart toys come in lots of forms.
And once that toy is connected to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, if the hacker finds the device name and connects to it, he or she can get in. With smart toys now coming in lots of forms, such as cars and gadgets you can control with an app, and talking dolls that kids can have conversations with, almost any toy can be a gateway into your home for a hacker.
This can pose immediate safety concerns if your child's location data is exposed, and it can increase the odds that your family can become victim of scam or frauds or identity theft if the information is leaked.
Something the U.S. PIRG says it hopes to help you avoid with this year's annual toy report warning.
That was Myra Franco reporting. The Public Research Group recommends if you purchase a smart toy, use secure Wi-Fi and create a strong password if the toy gives you the option.
Tonight, some continue to call for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. It's the first of the 4 to watch, stories that'll be developing as you start your day tomorrow. Anti-Israel rallies were held all across the country today. One of the largest was a pro-Palestinian rally. You can see it here with thousands of protesters in Manhattan. There was a significant backup of traffic as demonstrators marched in the streets during the height of the evening rush. Live out to Capitol Hill, House Speaker Mike Johnson has publicly released all security footage from January 6th that does not contain sensitive information. So he says much of it is already being shared on social media. There are about 44,000 hours of video, some of it raising new questions tonight. In one video, you can see Capitol Police escorting protesters through the Capitol, and in another, Capitol Police removing a protester's handcuffs, then proceeding to fist bump the man. Johnson says he wants citizens to be able to see every minute of the videos uncensored. Former First Lady Rosalynn Carter has entered hospice care at her home in Plains, Georgia. The Carter Center made the announcement today. In May, the Carter Center announced that the 96-year-old Mrs. Carter was suffering from dementia. 98-year-old former President Jimmy Carter entered hospice care himself back in February. Police say a gunman killed a person at a New Hampshire State Psychiatric Hospital. A state trooper assigned to the hospital was close by and immediately shot and killed the suspect. Police are still working to determine the suspect's identity. The State Police Bomb Squad also investigating a suspicious vehicle on the hospital campus. The motive of the shooting is not yet clear.
Grab your skates. Bellevue's ice rink is now officially open. The 26-year-old tradition returned to Bellevue's downtown park. This season will feature over 9,000 square feet of real ice, theme nights, and concessions.
And we have a great amount of special events like Kraken nights, football Sundays, as well as free skate lessons on select days.
Tickets will cost $15 during the week, $20 on weekends. Season passes are available for $149.
Do you ice skate, Mary?
I don't, but I try.
Do you, Shannon?
I do try.
I usually do for KOMO. I do a pirouette.
I think I saw that promo one time.
Yes,
it looked pretty good.
Try to do a little circle and try not to fall on
risky.
television. Yeah, it definitely is. And it's a tough thing to do once or twice every couple of years, but sure is a fun way to get into the holiday spirit. And we're getting there. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Hi, everybody. We're sailing into another November weekend. The last one here before the holidays really get into full swing. Mid-November, it quieted down for us. It's been a nice, quiet, serene stretch for the last several days, including this evening. This was the setting sun over Lake Washington from Bellevue, captured by Easy Lorenz. What a beautiful shot there. But we will start clouding up just in time for the weekend. We'll spend most of our Saturday just thickening the overcast. That increasing cloud deck will eventually bring an increasing chance for rain, but mainly just after sunset tomorrow night in Seattle. So you can get away with almost the entire day with drier weather before the rain finally moves up the I-5 corridor. Once it starts, it's going to rain most of the night, and it will be breezy at times as we head into Sunday as well. In fact, a few spots with gusts approaching 40, if not even 50 miles per hour by dawn on Sunday. So it does get wet and blustery smack dab in the middle of the weekend. We're not there yet. Friday night, and all is gorgeous here in the city by the Sound. Temperatures back in the 40s at the moment, including 44 at SeaTac Airport. A falling barometer, though, it's always a sign that there's something knocking on the door. This is what's knocking. You can see the increasing cloud cover starting to sneak on in from the south. There's a big storm that's pushing mainly into Oregon here as we head into the next 12 hours. So that's why the cloud cover is closing in from that direction tonight. Temps are actually going to be a little bit warmer tonight thanks to pulling that blanket of overcast slowly over the top of us. We're at 38 out of Everett. We are down to freezing in Shelton, but we shouldn't get too much cooler than that. And 36 the current reading out of Victoria. So where's the system anyway? When we look at the futurecast, you can see how it's this big stretched out cold front that is first going to arch into the Willamette Valley tomorrow morning. Here we are Saturday afternoon, 5 p.m. And look at how that rain is working its way up the I-5 corridor, definitely falling in Olympia, just starting to show up in Seattle. So right after sunset, since sunset's at about 4:30, it starts to rain around the Emerald City. Then that rain carries all the way on up across the Canadian border. Here we are 11 o'clock in the evening. Rain's already become more showery. Some snow over the Cascades. In fact, several inches expected from Stevens Pass back toward Blewett Pass tomorrow night. And then into Sunday, behind In the front, it gets gusty. Look at the scattered showers coming on through, and the winds really whipping at the beaches through the strait and back toward Whidbey and Camino Islands. We'll see gusts at times 30 to 40 miles per hour. This is just a snapshot of the models there, including just before sunrise on Sunday morning. Bottom line, wet tomorrow night and then showery and blustery into our Sunday to follow. Overnight tonight, we're just getting ready for that storm. So it clouds up, cools down mainly into the 30s, and we spend most of Saturday just thickening up the overcast, getting ready for that rain. Look at how mild it is in front to the front. 58 out of Maple Valley, 55 in Bremerton, and 57 in Arlington. Also clouding up, waiting for that Saturday night rain through the Strait and back into the San Juan. So most of Saturday looks okay for getting outdoors there. Not so much at the beaches. The rain hits you first in Long Beach, works its way into Olympia by mid-afternoon. Eastern Washington, you get away with just a few scattered showers tomorrow, but gusty and showery throughout the day on Sunday. So again, mid-weekend, here comes a storm. Rainy Saturday night, showery, unsettled, and gusty on Sunday. Back to work Monday, a little bit of a respite just to calm back down. Tuesday and Wednesday, Mary and Preston, there are a few scattered showers, but not a big deal. And then we head into Thanksgiving. Looks just fine for Thanksgiving Thursday, partly sunny and upper 40s. Not a bad holiday forecast overall.
I just can't believe it's almost the end of November.
I know, here we go. Holidays knocking on the door.
Yeah, thanks, Shannon.
You bet.
The final game of the Pac-12 as we know it in Corvallis coming up tomorrow.
Nico breaks down what's at stake in this high-profile top 10 matchup on the KOMO Sports Desk.
Monday morning on KOMO, there's a new push to create a Washington state license plate with a twist. Why it could have some cars sporting a famous cartoon character. And you may have heard of heavy metals found in some chocolate. Why it's there and what Consumer Reports found when they tested several popular brands. Join us Monday. KOMO Morning News begins at 4:30.
Absolute destruction down in Pullman tonight, and this is exactly what the Cougars needed after a 6-game losing streak. And in their final home Pac-12 game, they dominated the Buffaloes with an incredible 56-14 win, which is great momentum heading into next week's Apple Cup for the Huskies.
A big top 10 matchup right here on KOMO tomorrow. Nico has a preview from Corvallis in 15 seconds.
Go beast mode on your plumbing problems.
Here's the problem right here. What's next?
I think we're gonna have to take the whole toilet out.
Got it. What's next? You all good here?
So go beast mode and
Hey, wait. Stop freaking. Call Beacon.
And now, the KOMO Sports Desk with Nico Tamurian, presented by Xfinity.
Welcome to Corvallis, the scene of the showdown Saturday. The Huskies, number 5 in the college football playoff rankings. Oregon State, number 11. This is a game that's going to be awesome, but at the same time, if I'm being honest, makes me so sad this is the final year of the Pac-12 as we know it, because this is a legitimate national title contender in UW and perhaps a legitimate Pac-12 title contender in Oregon State, even if they lose this one and they beat Oregon next week. But it's going to be a great game, and I'll tell you what, the backdrop of that conference realignment stuff, on top of this implications nationally on this game, that's what the UW players are watching for as they head into this major matchup.
The game is still going to be a huge, important game. You know, this is a Pacific Northwest, clash. We love playing, Oregon State, Washington State. It's our little pocket up here, and we're excited for it. We know it's going to be a big challenge, but we're up for it.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. I mean, they have their new renovations on their stadium. They got their chainsaw going. They got, the fans, the top 10 team. Like they're fierce and they're ready to, have some fun. So we got to go in there with the mindset of a business trip and go out there and execute. Know we're going to be in a hostile environment, but what a blessing of an opportunity to go do that, right? We've put ourselves in this position. So just so grateful that our team is to be in a spot like this.
Kickoff for this game set for 4:30. The only place you can watch it is right here on KOMO. And as soon as the game's over, just after 8 o'clock, we'll bring you special post-game coverage from the stadium behind me. Trust me, you don't want to miss that. Major national title implications, regardless of if the Huskies win or lose. We're certainly hoping it is a victory for the Dogs. But right now in Corvallis, I'm Nico Tamurian.
We're going to take a quick break. A final look at your forecast up next.
We'll be right back.
Well, after a really quiet November week, things are finally starting to change up. Overnight, we're sending in the clouds, so already change in the air, and then we spend most of tomorrow just waiting for the rain. Increasing overcast and eventually an increasing chance for rain, which arrives mainly after dark Saturday night. Gusty and showery on Sunday, a break Monday, and then next week, really, other than a couple of sprinkles early Wednesday, fairly quiet approaching Thanksgiving.
All right, that's going to do it for us here at 11. Stay tuned for Jimmy Kimmel Live.
KOMO News is back at 4:30 a.m. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.